everybody, and thanks for joining. My name is Evan Eady, and I have Joe Carrabba here, the CEO of Bond Resources. Bond is listed on the CSE and is exploring the past-producing Mary Kay mine in Idaho. This webinar will have some forward-looking statements, so please see our disclaimer on the website at bondresources.ca. But nonetheless, let's jump right to it. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Morning, Evan. Doing great. Thanks for getting me on today. I'm looking forward to talking to everyone about our exciting project.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. So you did your first exploration program on the Mary Kay mine, the first exploration drill program there. What was the purpose, and what did you find?
Well, thanks. Yeah, for the introduction for everybody. So we had a small private group that formed about a year ago. We were informed by some local folks over in central Idaho. This project is right outside of a little town called Elk City, Idaho. I don't get excited about the name. It's 200 people. The mine was historical from the 1900s, if you will, and it's a very nuggety type of gold that came with it. We went over and did our due diligence. We did a small pilot plant. We did a small bulk sample with it. And we had the same result, finding the same results of about a half an ounce to 2/3 of an ounce, a ton of gold that we saw in the original reports with it. We did the deal with the folks that owned everything, and then we started the drill program. Sorry, long-winded, Evan, to get to this, but I think it's important for a bit of the history that goes with it. We needed to do several things with the drilling. Obviously, we needed to make sure the grade, to verify the grade. We did that in 3 of the holes where we were 0.59 ounces per ton in one. We were half an ounce in the other, and we had 2 holes that were 0.1 that came with it. More importantly, we were working off of old maps from the 1900s. This project has never had a drill hole put in it, and we needed to make sure the map orientation was right too. So 3 of the holes that we put in, we drilled deliberately into the old shaft and into the stopes, and we did reorient the map a bit. So we've got all of the survey techniques that we need to further on from there. The other holes that we hit the structure. It verified the vein that we were looking for on the Mary Kay. We actually hit a new vein on the way down on one of the holes that produced the half an ounce per ton that we're talking about. It was only 2 foot wide, but it's what we're expecting in that area. This has got veins that are stacked, as they say, or in echelon in that area, right off of the Idaho batholith that came with it. So we're excited for those opportunities as well as getting into the old mine.
Yeah, and that's, right away, Joe, that's, I would say, a first step success as well, as you're confirming or reconfirming workings that, again, from 1942, a German engineer essentially wrote down on a piece of paper. And you've gone out and said, A, we've reconfirmed the Mary Kay vein there, and bigger, I believe, than what was originally recorded. And then B, secondly, you hit the parallel vein. So there's more happening on this property than just that one vein that was identified from the 1942 workings.
Absolutely. As you say, the vein structure that we saw from the openings, they're too decrepit to get in and too unsafe. But then from the original discussions, they were from 3 to 5 feet in width, and we had some vein structure that went into the 10 to 15 feet in width. So we are very excited about that.
And what does that mean when you stand back now and look at that from, let's say, a 30,000 foot view? What's the system telling you?
I think it verifies, at the time, again, from the old maps, that he was on the number 4 level, which is where we're doing all of our current work, which was the richest and the longest part of the vein. We can confirm that the vein is 1,400 foot long up to our property line. I'm sure it goes on from there. There isn't a fault or anything from there, but up to our property line. That's the one confirmation that we came with it. And also the nature of the gold with that coarse, nuggety feel as well. We feel like we confirmed that as well. So that really puts us in a good position for what we're planning to do next.
So now we know some more characteristics of this system. We've achieved some other milestones too over that summer program. Maybe you could highlight on that. What other work did you do on the property during that time?
So we say we are on the number 4 level, and on the outside, given almost 100 years of erosion and weathering, that it was not feasible to resurrect the old number 4 portal and the opening. So we offset that by about 75 feet from the portal, the old portal. We've framed up the new portal, so we're ready to go to drive underground to get to the vein once again. From there, we've built a workshop and a core shed that came in. We've improved the roads. We've gotten our water permit, and we have our mining permits, Evan, as well as we go. So a lot of activity during the summer time to get ready for the next campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were busy. So Joe, now looking forward, what are our next steps, and what can investors expect in terms of news flow and how we're going to approach this gold nugget effect?
So what we're going to do in this type of deposit, we've talked to numerous experts that have a lot of experience in the nugget, is we really need to take a bulk sample with it of somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 tons that comes with it. So again, that portal that I just mentioned before, we have to drive 800 feet to get to the vein. We will, if you will, drive in occasionally every 200 or 300 feet. If the old tunnel looks good, we'll go in and rehab it. That'll save us about half the cost and the time. But we've budgeted for not having that and just putting in a new parallel drift as we go along with it. Once we get there, we'll drive a 300-foot ramp underneath the old workings. This was one of the richer parts of the mine that we were going to go in, and we'll take our bulk sample. Obviously, when we haul that out, we've got a small pilot plant already. We need to do some modifications in it to get the crushing and the concentrator right, to get the full recovery that we want to get out of it as we do it, and really test the metallurgy. Then we can scale up the plant from there as well. But obviously, we don't have to wait. As soon as we start hauling the ore out, we'll start processing it. We look to start doing that in the first quarter as we go with it. So this gives us the winter to get the equipment together and make sure we've got all the process flow sheets appropriate. So when the ore starts coming out, we can process that, and then we can use that cash flow to continue to carry on the development of the mine. I mean, while it's a test bulk sample, we're also it's built for the mine and full production as well, if you will, Evan. We don't have to restart. We're putting in the commercial access way, if you will, to the mine.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point there, Joe, because a lot of world-class gold and silver mines have been outlined, and I guess the risk factors they've tried to de-risk it by proving more of the deposit, proving more of the ounces that are there. What kind of upside do we have here when we look to process this ore right away and get that cash flow to do other work programs? What's the strategy there?
So I think the upside of this will be is one, just getting the mine into production. You know, there aren't many junior mining companies, if you look out there, Evan, that they seem to drill more and more holes. Continue to burn cash, if you will. Now there's an appropriate amount of time that you have to do that, but we feel very confident that we're there with this, and then we can go ahead and develop the mine while we've got the gold prices with where they are now. We think we can put this mine into full production in the next 18 to 24 months that we go with it. The upside that comes with it is obviously the production will move up to 150 to 250 tons a day when we're fully scaled up. We can go ahead and get started with the simplicity of the coarse gold with the right grinding to liberate the gold, and then with the concentrator, we will dewater the tails, and there's still fine gold in that. We will store those. We will run some of that product through a mill that we've got retained over in Montana to get the metallurgy right on that. And then, again, as the money flows in off of the coarse gold, we will go ahead and scale up and put the appropriate flotation circuits in to recover the fine gold. So, again, by our estimates, that's 20 to 25% of the gold that will still be on the upside. That most of the costs are already in, if you will, and we will reprocess that. And there's a lot of upside that goes with that on the cash flow side.
So some immediate cash flow will bring the value of the company up. Again, Joe, why don't you touch on Idaho? Some people have been speculating, and I think this has come to truth now, or to light, that Idaho could be where Nevada was 30 years ago in terms of a mining jurisdiction.
It certainly has a rich history, as you know. It's a mining state from the early days of the U.S. that goes with it. And as the prices of these precious metals have gone on, yeah, there's a lot of activity in central Idaho right now. There's some big names that are moving in there and starting to look at the district, and a few mines that are trying to get ready to start up as well. So a lot of activity. We've got 450 acres of private land, which is very important from a permitting standpoint versus, federal lands or state forest lands that go with it. And again, we think we've got multiple opportunities with the veins that we have. So yeah, Idaho is hot right now from a exploration mining perspective, and there's a lot of activity in the state, Evan.
Great. And Joe, you're currently doing a financing right now. For any of the investors who might be on the fence right now, why should they invest in bond, and why should they participate in the financing or continue to look at opportunities in the open market to become a shareholder?
That's a great question. So we are raising $3 million Canadian right now to advance all of the future plans that I just discussed on the bulk sample that we need to get going with that. With the private placement that you get, there's a discount to the current price. It's 15 cents Canadian, with a warrant, a full warrant that goes with it. As we move up, we win, you win, and you get a full warrant that comes in with it as well. I think the value that I look at it, I also invest. I never try and sell anything that I don't privately invest in as well. And I'm deeply invested into bond that goes with it. Is, we're really, with no cash flow, we're at a 0 multiple right now. Gold companies typically trade in that 6 to 8 to 10 range. I always try and be conservative at a 6 to 8 range that goes with it. So really, most folks are getting in at the ground floor, if you will, Evan, and they're getting in at a 0 multiple on this project as well. And, putting a project like this into place in 18 to 24 months, I think we're all pretty confident that the gold cycle will continue through the 2 years, given the chaos in the world, the pandemic, and the debt that all these countries are running up, and hyperinflation around the corner. So we feel pretty confident about the price of gold right now as well. So you're getting in right at the start.
Yeah, that's a great point. Again, noticing that you are a very new story, and we're a little bit more advanced than anybody that would normally or typically start in an exploration phase, because there's gold on the property. So I think, summing it up, you've got the right people, the right asset, the right jurisdiction, and we're coming into incredible timing with the current state of the economic globe right now. So Joe, thank you very much for having us. Any last words for your prospective or current shareholders?
Listen, I really appreciate it. I'm always available to any shareholders or any folks that might want more. Feel free to contact me. I'm on the website at bondresources.ca, and I will be ready to take any calls and take you a little deeper as you go into it. But I say I'm in it myself. My family's in it. So I'm heavily invested, and I think this is a great one for us. So Evan, thanks very much for your time today, and for all the viewers.
There we go. Everybody, please sign up on our website for the mailing list and stay tuned for further updates.